वो दिख रहा को ये मोबाइल फोन उठा पपीता आंटी को नंबर डाले।
हेलो ताहिरा मैम।
हाँ सुनेता।
हाँ अस्सलाम वालेकुम मैम, क्लियरिटी अच्छी है, सुनेता है।
वालेकुम अस्सलाम। ये तुमने वीडियो दिखता है कि?
हाँ वीडियो कॉल भी नहीं दिखेगा।
हेलो।
अस्सलाम फामिला ताहरा।
वालेकुम अस्सलाम। हाँ हेलो।
हेलो ताहिरा मैम।
हेलो। हाँ
हाँ नहीं இல்லக்கா எல்லாம் बहुत जने को अंदर आने होता नहीं, they are calling, I told them to call after 5 minutes।
ओके।
ठीक है तो हमें ये खत्म कर दो तो हम लोग ये करना, हेल्प करना।
किसे अंदर आने होता नहीं?
ये कौन की स्टूडेंट कहते बा।
कहाँ सुनाता है? हाँ बा। उनो। ओके ओके।
फाहमिदा अस्सलाम वालेकुम।
वालेकुम
हेलो
अस्सलाम शकीला।
हाँ अब अनम्यूट करेंगे तो इट इज नॉट गोइंग टू आउटसाइड ना, अभी जो हमें बात करते हैं।
नो नो एवरीबॉडी कैन हियर अस।
ओह ओके।
Assalamu alaikum and good day to all. I request the participants not to unmute their mics. Your mics will be muted and your videos will be turned off.
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Good afternoon to all the participants. Please don't unmute your mics. Your mics will be muted and your videos will be turned off throughout the program. You can type your doubts in the chat box. The resource person will answer your doubts at the end of the program. Thank you. Participants, please mute your mics. Your mics will be muted by the host. Don't unmute it. In case you have to ask anything, type it in the chat box. It's time. Shall we begin?
Hello, I am Parvez. Can you hear me?
Good morning, sir. Assalamu alaikum.
Morning, sir. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Yeah. So I
Yes.
think we can start. Dr.
Yes.
Nisha?
Yes, I'm online.
Yeah, we could hear you. Yeah. Yes. But Nisha, is all the participants by default muted, no?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Only the panelists.
Only panelists have to mute themselves.
Okay. So yeah, while going on the session, panelists can mute. Yeah, we can start,
Yes, sir.
madam.
Yes, sir. Let us start. Assalamu alaikum and a very good day to all. Nowadays, higher educational institutions are playing an imperative role in developing entrepreneurial competencies. Startup activities in Indian higher educational institutions have not only grown significantly in numbers, but also in terms of creating a support system to encourage entrepreneurship, improved levels of innovation, and employment generation. A number of challenges exist to the ongoing development of the startup ecosystem because of the prevailing social conventions relating to education, career choices, funding, etc. Incubators are cropping up in India with more universities and autonomous colleges setting these up on their campuses. The startup ecosystem growth has also brought together faculty members and students at universities and colleges to join in with their own ventures. This webinar is an initiative by the Department of Business Studies in collaboration with the Crescent Incubation and Innovation Council to understand the Government of India's directives to academia on formation of incubation centers, the startup policy of MHRD for students and faculty, government grants and private funds available for startups and incubation centers. We will also get an opportunity to listen to the resource person to hear about his success story at CIIC. Let us begin the session by invoking the blessings of the Almighty. I request Dr. Fahmida Yasmin, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce, to recite verses from the Noble Quran and render its translation. Dr. Fahmida?
Yes, ma'am. हेलो मैम मैम का सुरा पढ़ दो मैम क्या कि सर्वर इशू आ गया तो मैं कॉल करते ही हेलो सुरा पढ़ दो मैम तुम्हें एक ही चांस नहीं इसमें
Okay, let us begin with a prayer. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. I request Mrs. Hamida Nisa, Head and Associate Professor, Department of Commerce, to welcome the resource person and the participants.
Assalamu alaikum and good afternoon to all. On behalf of the management, principal and Department of Business Studies, I deem it privileged to welcome you all to the webinar on academia startup ecosystem. I extend my warm welcome to the resource person, Mr. Parvez Alam, Chief Executive Officer and Director, Crescent Innovation and Incubation Council. Mr. Parvez Alam graduated as engineer from Anna University and Masters in Management from Great Lakes Institute of Management, Chennai. and Start School of Business, Chicago. He specialized in project and program management and is a recipient of many prestigious certifications from USA and UK. He has 13 plus years of cross-functional experience in strategy marketing, program management, and operations. He served various honorary positions such as Secretary of SAE India Aerospace Board, Secretary of Aerospace Industry Development Association of Tamil Nadu, and member of IACC Aerospace Panel, FICCI Aerospace and Defense Panel, CII Tamil Nadu Task Force. Presently, he is a member of CII Southern Region Forum on Startuppreneurs. Recently, he has taken over as CEO of Crescent Innovation and Incubation Council, led by B.S. Abdul Rahman Crescent Institute of Science and Technology, which nurtures startups and entrepreneurs. Post-COVID-19 scenario may lead the economy to anticipate a huge unemployment crisis, and we are in dire need to become self-reliant. So this webinar on role of academia in building startup ecosystem is an attempt to serve as a roadmap to tackle the future without any hassles. I welcome you all once again. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I request Mr. Parvez Alam, CEO and Director of Crescent Incubation and Innovation Council, to take over the session.
Yeah. Good morning and assalamu alaikum to all of you. Can you all hear me now?
Walaikum assalam. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So first of all, thanks for the management of SIT and as well as the HOD, principal, and the professor coordinator for organizing this session. It's my privilege to address such an eminent institution. So as we talked about, I think briefly in the introduction, that so my voice is audible, no?
Yes, sir.
So as we briefly talked in the introduction, that innovation and incubation is a kind of, it's a not a choice, but it's a kind of mandatory in the academia world. So I'll just touch upon this topic in the upcoming slides, but just give you a little overview about, how, things are evolving here. So if you see from this slide, India is the third largest global startup ecosystem. So after China and USA, if you see in India, we have produced 24 unicorns. For many people who doesn't know what is unicorns, unicorns are the startup which has reached a turnover of $1 billion, which is 7,500 crores. Imagine a startup which just started and within a couple of years, they become a unicorn. So Chennai has a lot of unicorns like Zoho, Freshworks. Of course, Flipkart is one of the big unicorn, India has created. So like this, we have created 24 unicorns in the past couple of years. So whether we like it or not, India is becoming the third largest global startup ecosystem after China and USA. And this potential is unlimited, and this 24 unicorns has created $100 billion valuation, and then it created 430,000 jobs, direct jobs, plus 1,600,000 indirect jobs. So we also, I think the panelist has to put on a mute. Yeah. So it is also expected to grow in the next couple of years 4 times. While many people are asking me that after COVID, what is going to be the situation? But I keep saying after COVID, the startup scenario is going to be much better improved. Because it has 1.3 billion population, we cannot give jobs to everyone. So we have to create jobs. We have to create more employers, right? And the startups are the frugal solution providers. In the sense, frugal solution is just very cost-effective solution. India doesn't have a big money to invest in big R&D. For example, if you take a video conferencing solution, it doesn't have an Indian product. When Zoom created some security issues, the government of India came and they said that, let's, throw on a hackathon, let the students and innovators create the, solutions for the video conferencing. So what I'm trying to say is we doesn't have a big money to invest in big R&D as a country. So we have to depend on startups for getting a, frugal solutions. So that is the way to go. If you see the funding rise on the Indian market, so many people say when the startup, you want us to start a startup or a company to become an entrepreneur, every time the problem was told is the money. Right? But if you see the VC, what is called venture capital investment, this is a private investment, not a government investment. If you see a private investors like the angel investor or venture capitalist who invest in startup, this statistics only for India. So if you see continuously an average from 4 billion to up to 9 billion, they have invested. When you say 9 billion, it's almost, imagine it is, 7,500 crores into 10 times. So basically what we are trying to say is this 656 startups only raise this money. Means that small companies only in India rises this much money on average, and this continues to be rising for the last 5 years. So money is the least problem for a startup if you have a good idea. For example, Swiggy has raised recently $1 billion. If you tell me what is the Swiggy's greatest is the innovation, I think from my childhood, I keep seeing that Domino's, Pizza Huts are giving the door delivery. What is different Swiggy? In fact, Swiggy charges, whereas the Domino's and Pizza Huts used to give free delivery. What they did is they created a market in the sense they found there is some time frame where these young generation people doesn't want, they become lazy, they don't want to go to a restaurant. They want to order everything in a mobile app. They have a smartphone with them. And instead of one restaurant, they want to buy it from any restaurant. So that is what they did. Otherwise, what is the innovation they did? So like say Ola, Uber, so everything, what we call this the business model innovation, right? So in fact, we often say when the startup is there should be an innovation. Is there any, mandatory need to have a patent or technology like that? But what we say is to have a startup, you need to have a technology innovation or even a process innovation or even a business model innovation. So Ola, Uber, Swiggy, Zomato are the business model innovation. So we can have that type of innovation also. But the point here is you should have a scalability. Scalability means you have to grow. It's not a brick and mortar model. Instead of having a pop store, mom and pop store, if you say I have a big bazaar, it's a Flipkart, then people like to invest in that business model. Now the next question will come is that, sir, if I have the very good business model, then people like Ola, Uber, like that model, if I grow, then people will invest, the venture capitalists will invest. But what happens if I have only idea stage? I have only an idea. Who will invest? Who will give money? If you have money, do you go and invest? In fact, very typically we say for the early stage idea people, only 3 people will give money. That's called 3 Fs. So first F is called friend, second F is called family, and third F is called food. Means only friend, family, and food are the people who give the money for the early stage startups. But the things have changed. Now, if you see, I have put the 3 Fs in this chart from 2 lakh money to 50 lakh. That's what initially startups or entrepreneurs need. Then the angel investors and venture capitalists come. And I also given the idea stage, whether you are an idea stage or proof of, I also given the stages of your innovation or idea or a company on the below. So whatever you are seeing in the green is all called various funding schemes. Let's say SIP. SIP is the kind of a scholarship like UGC, JRF you will get. Similarly, we get 50,000 scholarship once you finish your master's degree or bachelor's degree. You can just go and, so you are expected to become an entrepreneur after 18 months. You will be given stipend. Similarly, EIR is called Entrepreneur in Residence, given by DST. It is again 30,000 fund. IVP is Entrepreneurship Development Innovation Institute program from Chennai. So they gave 2 lakhs for market study and 5 lakhs for product development. Nidhi Prayas again, it is 10 lakhs. Big BIG is again 15 lakhs, 50 lakhs. So what I'm trying to say is, in fact, we have given only few schemes which we could fit in this slide. Otherwise, there are numerous schemes which we are not aware of. So information is wealth. I think we are not aware of many funding schemes for the early stage startups. In fact, we say that incubator is the place where you get all this information. So many times you have to incubate in the incubator, then only you are able to get these schemes. So I suggest that now MHRD is also launched a new policy for faculty student, especially for in academia system. I will also touch upon that policy. But what I'm trying to say is there are so many schemes for the early stage startups, like student faculty startups, and you should get a benefit on this. So now from the previous slide and this slide, I'm saying in the previous slide, you have a lot of money from the private investors once your business model is developed. And if you have the early stage, then you have a lot of government schemes which you can encash. Now, why do you need to go to the incubator? People may ask, but if this is a published statistics, if you see incubators, the people go to the incubators, the startups or entrepreneurs go to the incubators, will get a success rate of 20%. But people doesn't go to the incubator, will get a success rate of only 7%. See, one thing you have to keep in mind, startups are prone to high rate of failures. 90% of the startups in India fail. But I'm going to talk about the reasons for the failure in the next slides. But the point here is, if you are going to the incubator, they will tell you what not to do rather than what to do. So you don't need to reinvent the whole wheel. So that's why we suggest that you should go and talk to the incubator all the time. So coming back to this, why startups fail? If you see the top 3 reasons, the first and foremost reasons they fail is no market need. See, the problem, I come from a corporate world. What we do is first we will go and do a what you call market survey, whether this product can be purchased or not by the customers. Then we do the benchmark survey, which is more of customer, what are the competitors having similar product. Then we'll come and give these inputs to R&D to develop a product. Whereas in startups, unfortunately, they invent something like Archimedes Eureka moment, and then they come and tell you that I want to sell this globally. I want to become a next Uber. That is not possible. You have to find an innovation which the other people buy. There should be a market. See, sometimes you create a market like how Uber and Swiggy did, but you have to find a market need, otherwise your startups will fail. That is where majority of the startup fail. Second is the cash problem. As I said, cash is not the first problem. Second is, of course, the cash problem. Now there are so many avenues where you will get cash if you have a good idea. Then the third one is the team. So you should have a right combination of the team. So these are the top 3 problems the startup faces. And I'm just giving in this slide, there is no gender bias. Since I'm addressing to women's college, India has produced 14% of women startups, women founder startups. In fact, our ratio in Crescent is higher. We have 33%. We have 36 startups, out of which 13 are women founder startups. So we are keep encouraging women supported startups. And there are many special schemes for women supported startups, women founder startups. And second thing is, there is no age. We have a startup who is just 20 years old, who is another startup who is 55 years old. And if you see the average statistics, people between age of 30 to 40, there are more number of successful startups. Because the more the 40, you reach the age 45, then the success will be more, it says. So there is no age also, as you see from this chart. And I'm going to talk about what is the role of academia. See, the role of academia, as a professor in the introduction explained, you don't have a choice whether to avoid innovation or incubation. Now, all the regulatory agencies are behind you. If you see, people used to talk about education 1.0 as a teaching. Now they are saying you should be doing compulsory research and consulting. Now in future, we'll be talking about only innovation and incubation. Now education is going to be a question mark. Now if you see after COVID, everything became online. I was told one engineering college in Kodaikanal, they closed and then converted into a resort because there is no admission. So the infrastructure what we have, we may not be able to support for only education. So you have to do a support for a lot of R&D, innovation and incubation. So that is going to be the future education 4.0. And as I already told, whether it is a NAC, you are highly rated in NAC, NARF, or AICTE, or UGC. There is a new ranking called ARIA, Atal Ranking of Institutional Innovation Achievements. Especially, in fact, this Institute of Eminence is given to the people who are ranked very high in ARIA ranking. So what I'm trying to say is education is highly regulated industry. The next tomorrow, if UGC or NAC announces something, we need to follow. And everybody is now asking for innovation and incubation. So there is no escape for us now. Now, this MHRD's faculty entrepreneurship policy is a great boom. It was launched recently. I don't know how many of you are aware of it. You can just Google it, National Innovation and Startup Policy for Students and Faculty. It primarily addresses all the concerns that whether the faculty can start a startup, how they should do it. In fact, they are saying you should be given legitimate weightage in the faculty annual academic performance appraisal. Why faculty is not motivated for doing a startup? The teaching overload is very high. They all the time, we are asking only for publications and patents, not any startup. Now, if you are supporting a startup, you are a board member in some startup, you will be given an academic weightage in your evaluation system. And you are also get a time to use whether there is a conflict of interest, whether the faculty can teach as well as work in a company. So all these questions are addressed. Even an institute intellectual property can be used as a startup. In fact, if you see in Western world, all the technologies emerge from the academia. You see the top 10 universities in the world, like the Harvard and Stanford and MIT, the technology is coming from the university. The faculty will create in their region, it is called spin out. They won't call startup, it's called spin out. Spin out is the existing IP of the institute or the faculty will be given to other people to form a company. So that's called, similar like startup, it's called spin out. So only in India, we could not see that, much of traction in the faculty and academia. But thanks to this new policy, now it has clearly told what is the sabbatical, what is the reduced teaching load, what are the awards, what are the incentives can be given for a faculty supported startup. And just now, Madam also talked about what are the funds available for the incubation center. Say there are two types of fund available from the government. One is to the incubation center, another is to the incubators, that is startups. So institution like SIT can apply for this type of grant, where you can be given a grant to set up an incubation center. So we has, in fact, Crescent has such got one grant. But what I'm trying to say is we have potential of up to get 31 crore in next 4 to 5 years, provided you have the will to take this incubation to a center to a larger level. And thanks to this BioNest, which is the BIRAC funded, comes under Department of Biotechnology. So we received a 1.8 crore grant to set up incubation center. So this money we have completely used to facilitate our center. In fact, I started with a zero budget. So I joined 2 years back, and we don't have a great money. We just started with one old building. We just renovated a space, and then we applied for a grant, and now we have 36 startups. Let's go on. So we fortunately got on the grant in the first year itself. So I think we should be, very concentrated effort we should make. And officially, we are just 1 year old. So we have started this activity in September 2018. We have to separately form one Section 8 company. See, as per the government guidelines, you should separate incubation center. So it should be inside the college campus. It should be associated with the college or university, but it should operate separately. So that's why they introduced a new role called CEO. Otherwise, CEO is a more of a chief education officer, often we know. So basically they call chief executive officer. They should also come from a business background. That's what they say. So the old norm of entrepreneurship development cell and other things, it's now more elevated as an incubation center. So we have just started in March 27, 2019. Then we got a grant from BIRAC. Then we got 36 startups and so on. We are also recognized by European Commission as one of the 16 incubators from India to collaborate with European incubators. So this is the impact we created in the last 1 year. We got 25,000 square feet in our campus. I urge you after this lockdown, make a tour to visit our incubation center from SIT. And we got a grant from BIRAC. We also set up a 9 center of excellence. You can come and visit us. And our 36 startups we have incubated, out of which 3 of them raised 39 crore in the market. When I said in the angel investors and private investments. So we have generated the job opportunities of 300 people, and 6 startups have received 69 lakh of government grants. I already told that. So all the slides I've shown is just not a slide. We have actually done it. So we raised 69 lakhs of government grant and 39 crores of private investment. And we also, our startups have raised many awards, received awards, 9 startup awards. And we are also ranked number 3 bio incubator in the country. We are the youngest. We just formed 1 year ago, and we directly went to the top 10. And that too, we went into the 3rd ranking in the private institution category in the ranking of the bio incubator. So we do a lot of international collaborations. We have, apart from 36 startups, we have 21 student startups. Means they are yet to graduate, but they have a team. They can actually, they have a startup, but they are yet to be formally registered, but they are, have a team, they have a product, they have potential to incubate as soon as they finish. So we also does a lot of patent supporting activity for university. As we have supported 34 patents for university as well as startups, 12 patents. We also do co-incubation consultancy. So there is a Tasim BV college for women. It is there in Kilakarai. It is part of the Crescent Group. So we are now supporting. We are doing formal consultancy assignment. Means we will handhold them, we nurture them for 1 year. We charge for that service. Similarly, we have recently signed up one for Holy Cross College in Trichy. They got 3.75 rank in the NAC. So I also suggest we can have some kind of formal relation between SIT, provided if you are very aggressive to take it further. So these are our incubating statistics. As I told, we have 13 women-founded startups. We also have 8 alumni startups. So alumni are the great strength. I know SIT is 60 years old, more than 36 years of just Crescent. So you will, though it is a women-based institution, I'm sure some of your old alumni are top-notch entrepreneurs, and they will be in industry at top-notch positions. So you should get their support, and many of them would like to come back and start their own business. If you see, I've given the statistics that we have people who are in ideation stage, who are done in the prototype. So we have it in all stages. And we work predominantly on life science and industry 4.0, which is more of IT as well as license. When I say life science, it includes medtech, healthcare, food tech, nanotech, clean tech, agri tech, everything. And when I say industry 4.0, it's all about AI. In fact, we have edutech startups like Byju. We have a couple of startups working in edutech domain. So as I said, these are the two primary focus areas, life science and industry 4.0. We have set up a center of excellence. You can come and see the life science center of excellence is again funded by the BIRAC. So this is various startups. We also create a lot of mentoring. So these are our mentors in the life science group. And these are the partners. We work with closely with hospitals like Chettinad, Mehta Hospital, and CCAMP is one of the #1 bio incubator in the country. So we work with relevant partners and we have created these mentors. Similarly, for Industry 4.0, we have created many mentors. And we also, for example, our startup who are registered with us, they get Zoho 1 year free license for Zoho. See, for IT startup, they don't need a physical space. They just need a platform, a product development tool. So Zoho one is they have 45 applications. Similarly, AWS, Amazon Web Services. Amazon Web Services have 75 tools, and that is sufficient for somebody to sit at home with a laptop and develop their IT product. So we support in giving. So Amazon Web Services gives $5,000 credits free. Means 3.5 lakh worth of software, they give it for free if they are incubated with us. This is the other investment network and other ecosystem we have created. These are the various partners. I can go on explain each and everything, and but we have almost whoever in the entrepreneurship domain, we have signed a partnership with them. This is the space, I talked about it. I urge after the lockdown, you can come and visit us. These are the various center of excellence. We have Center for Smart Manufacturing, we have 3D printers. We have studios, there is a MOOC studio, but the Center for Innovation in Teaching Learning. But in this center, we can develop product development videos, promotional materials for startups and things like that. We also have a Center for Intellectual Property Rights where we get them registered, patent. So we are a one-stop shop. Startups comes to us, starting from company registration to Startup India registration. They get tax benefit, everything we do, process, we support at very, very minimal cost. So this is for success story. So 5 of our startup, in fact 6 of our startup has raised government grants, which I talked about, 69 lakh worth of government grants. And 3 private investments, 3 startups have raised. One raised 14 crores, another raised 18 crores, another raised 7 crores. In fact, the BGOT is one of our alumni. He started his own startup and he raised 14 crores recently. So these are the various startup awards. We also help our startups to apply for this award. We also facilitate them to get this award. Incidentally, we also get a lot of awards, recognitions for CIC. As I told, we are ranked #3 incubator private institution in the country by BioSpectrum. So we have global access across. We have created partnership in Europe. We have created partnership in Middle East market, especially in Dubai and Qatar. We also signed a partnership in US. So any startup who grows, they want to go to a Middle East market, we'll help them, we'll support them through our network. Also in Europe as well as in US. So these are the various brand building activities we do. We continuously does these activities. Comes in telemedia. We supported this global investors meet. We are very active in social media. I suggest you can catch hold of us, Crescent Innovation and Incubation Council in the social media, and all the posts we are on a live, we are uploading it. We also have a YouTube channel. You can go and see the seminars we do, webinars we do. We also publish it. So this is our young team. So I head this as a CEO director, and Prem Kumar is our incubation manager. He comes from EDI background, MSME entrepreneurs. He supported so far 1,000 entrepreneurs, and he joined with us. Dr. Nisha, who is also in this webinar now, she is PhD in biotech, and then she supports the BIRAC government grant, plus any technical support from the life science category. Akshay is our manager, assistant manager, who supports the investment and other opportunities. Dinesh is our scientific officer who heads our laboratories. Yasmin is our accounts officer, and Kavin and Karthika are both are the administration executives. So we have a board of directors. Apart from board of directors, we have external advisors who are, if you see the below three, all the three are, two of them are already investor and they're part of Chennai Angel. And one of them, the CEO of the CCAM, who is the #1 biotech incubator. So I wanted to interact more. So my final slide is, so we often say entrepreneurship is only kind of an art. Not everyone can do it, but there is no born entrepreneur. Is not only an art, but is also there is a science, and you can learn the science. I won't say we are teaching, but we enable you. You are all great teachers. We enable you to understand the science. That's what this incubation center, as an incubation center, we do. And that's about the brief introduction about us. And whatever I explained, we have just achieved in 12 months. If we could do it as a much younger organization than you, then you can do much better than us. So with this note, I conclude my speech, and then maybe I'll take more questions. Nisha, is the questions are in chat window or Q&A window?
In Q&A, there are 2 questions, sir.
Yeah, after Finance Minister 2 days back announced a lot of schemes, MSME industries, it failed to attract investors and resulted in fall in stock market. Please come on. So this is broader, macroeconomic issue. But if you see that, in all these schemes, the MSMEs have been given more importance. So that is what I'm saying. Post-COVID, definitely there is going to be a big impact in the economy. There is no doubt about it. It is going to be a global hit. Okay, many people will lose jobs and things like that. Industries will file bankruptcy. Stock market will fall down. But at the end of the day, we have very little money. We have little, government can support little, very little. That little support will be given to finally MSMEs and startups. Because the startups can only because they are also agile, they are adaptive. They can quickly change over. If you see our startup, one of the startup who are working in textile apparel, he immediately made a mask. The mask is also come from an apparel, right? So immediately he made a mask with a coating. Okay, so somebody is working on a 3D printing, immediately made a face mask for protective layers. So somebody is working on general hygiene, they have made a sanitizer. So the startups are very, very quick and agile and adaptive to change it to the scenario, whereas the big industries cannot do because they already made big investments. So I feel the frugality of the startups is going to give a more impact for the economy. So I think the next question is something same. I already answered it. We would like to know about the support system for incubation cell. Support system for incubation cell, I didn't understand the question much, but there is, government gives a lot of money, as I told you already in the slide. Government gives money for incubation center, apply and get funded. Government also give money to the startup. They route it through incubation center. It means that money comes to you and then you in turn disperse to the startup. So that you can, support. And third is that if you ask how we can support you, you can visit our incubation center, and there is an application, you can apply. Once you get selected, then you will be given the support of what we are doing for others. I think kindly share your number and email ID, sir. So I have shared now in the screen. I hope everyone can see my email ID, as well as our website, as well as my mobile number. Usha, we have any other question?
No, sir.
The chat window. Okay.
Sir, in chat, there's a question. My brother having a new startup idea, and it will be a new, innovative and fresh idea. So how to help him out? So they are generally asking if a person has an innovative idea, how to bring such person.
So basically what we do, our process is, when we have an idea, they have to come and talk to us. Of course, their idea is protected. Many people are worried if they share the idea, if whether leak, somebody will copy. So the first thing we'll say is go and get patented. So we have a patent agent in our Center for Intellectual Property Rights. We have a patent agent who is certified and empaneled by the ministry. And I don't know how many of you know, if you register a patent, your college has to pay good money to file and register for NAC and the NRF purpose. Whereas if you are a startup, if you are registered in a startup, if you file it, then 80% of the cost will be paid by the government. So you need to give only 20%. So there is a 10,000 rupees subsidy scheme right now going on for next 3 years. So if you file a patent, the 10,000 fee, the major charge, will be paid government directly to the patent agent. So you can just file application, pay the minimal, and then your patent you will get it. So we do that kind of support also. I think the application to avail supports made simpler in Mann Ki Baat of Prime Minister. So that is different anyway. So what I'm trying to say is, so you can, anybody having any ideas, you can approach us. So the first step is you have to come, and we have given up, we give application. You have to talk about your idea. So we will ask a little more, what we call as pitch deck. We have a template, we give it, it's already available on the website also. So you have to just see the template, what is your invention, what is the problem you are trying to solve, and what benefit you are going to get it. So we'll ask these questions so that you will understand what is your innovation. Then we'll file for a patent, and then you can just start commercializing. We will also help. We also help in connecting to the market. See, the incubator, generally they say use our facility, pay for the services, that's it. They don't go beyond this. They will give only connection to investors, and they say these are the government grants available. But we are fully, we are closely associated, and we help them to raise the market. So somebody is asking MHRD, Ministry of Human Resource Development. It's called the MHRD Innovation Cell, MIC. So they have launched this faculty entrepreneurship policy. So you can just Google it and download it. Maybe after this, I can share these slides. I will also share this policy if you want. You can circulate it to the attendees. And so that clearly talks about what is the student faculty startup relationship and how should they do it, how they officially they can do it. Because you are teachers, suddenly in university or college going to ask you, what are you doing? You're going and working for your own company. What is in it for the university? So all these questions are answered in the policy. Yeah, I think we have answered all the questions.
So there's one more question.
How does mentoring work in incubators? So mentoring is what we call as initially it's called pro bono mentoring. Pro bono mentoring means it is free. So for example, for a weekly an hour or so, a monthly couple of hours, it is free. We have an industry expertise. I already told you in that our list I already shared. What is the mentor network we have created in each domain. So these mentors will help in crystallizing your thoughts. But beyond this, then you should have an arrangement with mentors. So we will facilitate that relationship, mentor-mentee relationship, and we'll like expert in your field will mentor you and advise you. Then the initial stage, there is not much of, as I say, is a pro bono, but later it can be a honorarium or it can be a sweat equity. There is a term called sweat equity. That means you don't have money to pay. You can say, I'll give some percentage of shares, say 2% to mentors. Once, if I make money, good money, then they can encash. So that's how is mentoring work.
Okay, so I suppose we are done with the questions.
Yeah.
Taira ma'am? Taira ma'am?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, you have any general questions?
So
Otherwise,
there's one more question in the Q&A section.
Q&A. What is the question?
Is there a separate cell to students to avail support from MSME?
See, MSME is a broader definition. All startups will come under MSME by default. But the difference between the regular entrepreneurs and a startup is innovation. That's the only difference. The regular entrepreneurs is, you say, I'm going to do a trading. Okay. I'm going to do a trading. I'm going to do a farming. You go and get a loan. They will give a subsidy because government generally supports entrepreneurship. Whereas the startup, you want to register as a startup in Startup India portal, there are a lot of more benefits than MSME. But the issue is they ask you, what is the innovation? What are you doing? How you are doing something different? Like, are you doing it in e-commerce? How you are doing it innovation? So that one simple question you need to answer when you want to become a startup than a regular entrepreneur. Okay. And number two is students' point of view. As I told you, see the UGC, I'm sure you will have your entrepreneurship development cell. But what entrepreneurship development cell for these age-old years, they're only doing awareness programs. They only say 3-day awareness camp. After that, what? Nothing has happened. You just throw the seed, but nothing has happened. So what in Crescent we did is, we also had a 20 years old entrepreneurship development cell. Then we created one Abdul Kalam Innovation Center, which is more for supporting students. We will give them seed fund. For example, we have given up to 5,000, 50,000 seed fund. When the student comes, we have given money to say that now you come up with your idea. So we have funded 14 such projects, out of which 2 people have now incubated with us. So means that we have an exclusive called Center for Abdul Kalam Center for Innovation for student-supported startups. So we can see that we have supported 21 startups right now. So whenever any hackathon, Smart India Hackathon, this type of program comes, they will go and participate. So we give a very separate student focus. We don't mix up with their regular startups, whereas their maturity and their level is something higher. So that type of very dedicated support we're doing. I urge you can also do I'm sure you are not taking any startups right now from outside. So you are focused mainly students, current students. So you can create a separate, focused activities. You can create a small fund, seed fund among yourself. Of course, you can also apply for government grant, provided you meet their requirements. Any other question?
Yes, sir. Couple of questions have come.
Where I could not see, it's in question answer window. But anyway, you can, you can just.
Coming both in chat and Q&A.
Okay.
So, in Q&A, they have, it's a question, interesting question. How an entrepreneurship can easily find customers?
Entrepreneurs can find customers.
Easily.
See,
what are the easy ways to find customers?
Yeah. See, that is the biggest problem. I told you, 42% of startup failed because they could not find their market. They could not find their customers. Of course, you can do a lot of, that's what I said, you can do a lot of market survey. In fact, recently, some of the startups who want to go to Europe, who want to go to Middle East market, and through our associates, we are telling them this is the potential for Middle East market. These are the segments, this has the potential. So let's say agriculture. Netherlands is the great place for agriculture or food science. So like that, we do a lot of market intelligence reports That is a one way to start. But of course, you have to deep dive more on the market need before even starting a startup. Yeah, next question.
So what's the difference between entrepreneurship development cell and incubation center?
Yeah, that's what I just now explained it. Entrepreneurship development cell is an old term used by UGC. Basically, it's called ED cell or EDC. And they are mainly started to support students, give awareness. Beyond awareness, they have not done anything great. These incubation centers are, I would say, entrepreneurship development cell is like a school. And this innovation center is like a college undergraduate program. And incubation center is like a postgraduate program. So the student suddenly cannot, after finishing 12th, they have to go to undergraduate, then only they go to postgraduation. The school children cannot come and join directly graduation. So they have to go to the high school and then come. So I would say ED cell is one level very below. Then we can have an innovation center where they can support some seed funding, support projects, prototypes. Then one level up is incubation center where you are making company, you are registering company. You are registering a private limited company. So you are putting a little money, your skin in the game. So that is more seriousness than the ED cell.
So there's another question asking, how can startups overcome competitions from other similar products?
See, of course, the competition is everywhere, and that is where we say, what is the unique technology you have created? In fact, if you see our template, the first question asks, what is the problem you solve? We are saying, if you are having done an innovation, what is the problem you are trying to solve? Okay. And then after that, we are going to ask you the question that who have done the similar problem? Are you are solved the problem? You are the only one who solved the problem globally. Who has done it already? Then that is what in patent or in publishing, you do literature survey or patent survey, where you come to know who are other people are doing the same thing. Then you will think how is the differentiator. And one differentiator is you should have a unique patent, and then is one differentiator. Thereby you can protect your competition for 20 years. That's why everyone is now behind patents. In fact, startups now will get a patent granted within 3 months or 6 months. Yeah, otherwise, academicians or regular people will get only in 3 years or 4 years. Now they got a separate route. First thing is they get a subsidy. Second is they also fast track. So I think unique innovation is the only key for your competition differentiator.
Yes, so we have covered most of the questions.
Yeah.
So there's a last question. Okay, sir, all of the sudden lockdown, final year students were not able to go for placement. How can they face such challenges?
How can they
face such challenges?
Such challenges. Yeah, in fact, people who are working in IT companies and manufacturing industries are losing jobs. They have been asked to go. So it's a much bigger problem to solve. But the only way is become an entrepreneur, start your own startup. Because India is a large country of 1.3 billion population. We can't get, everybody cannot get a job. And that's the need. I think your question has, given a conclusion for the whole session. That is, unless academia has involved in startup, unless you create more jobs, you create employers, you will become worthless soon. In the sense, the education industry itself will be survival will become a big question mark if we are not. In fact, we are already. India has produced more number of graduates than the demand. We have supplied more than the demand. Now, with this COVID scenario, the situation going to be much more complex, this uncertain scenario, and the foolproof system is only to create a own startup and become a more entrepreneur and give more jobs. In fact, we often say as an incubator, we are not working for the university, we are working for the nation, we are working for the country because we are helping to solve the unemployment problem. Where the only question government asks, the government give a lot of funds, they pay our salary. The only question they ask is how many jobs you have created, how many jobs your startups have created. That is the only question they ask. So that is the only solution.
Yes, sir. We have covered almost.
Yeah. So maybe we leave it to SIT management. Yeah.
Myra, ma'am?
Ah, yes. Thank you, sir. Papita, can you hear me? Hello, Papita. Unmute yourself.
Yes, I can hear.
Please deliver the vote of thanks, Papita.
Assalamu alaikum and good afternoon to all. On behalf of the Department of Business Studies, I thank the speaker, Mr. Parvez Alam, for enlightening us on the important elements of a startup ecosystem and for sharing his experiences as the Director of Crescent Incubation and Innovation Center with us. Thank you very much, sir, for making the session very interesting for us. I am grateful to our principal and the management of SIE Trust for their support and encouragement in conducting this seminar in the midst of this pandemic distress. I express my thanks to the co-host, Ms. Nisha, for rendering technical help. I appreciate the active participation of our students in this webinar. My thanks are due to the organizing committee for their rigorous involvement in the successful conduct of this webinar. Stay safe and healthy.
Thank you, Papita. Dr. Nisha, from where can we have the feedback link?
Ma'am, you have to send it separately, ma'am. So this, I'll share to you all the registrations separately.
Okay.
Nisha, can you not create one poll, that star rating one?
It will take another couple of minutes, sir.
Okay.
We have to make a participant.
Okay, so we will share this participant list by Excel sheet, the name, email, and then you can send it, and then you can also send the certificates to them.
Sir, sure, sir. Dear participants, you will be getting the link and your certificates will be mailed to you in a week's time. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. Thanks for the opportunity. Thanks for your management also. Convey my regards. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. The meeting is over. You can leave the meeting. Certificates will be mailed to you in a week's time. Thank you.